FT Live. What day is it? What's today?
It's Frazier Friday.
It's Frazier Friday, baby. We're all in the same damn place. Let's go.
One time.
Frazier Friday. AJ's off. Scotty Brown here in person. Nice late night flight. Oh, place is looking good.
It feels good. I got warmed it up for you guys.
It's nice and toasty.
You feeling fresh? You good?
Barely. You need to make sure that thing, you won't be freezing no pipes up in here.
Listen, we're good. We're feeling good. It's going to be a great episode today. I can't wait.
We nailed our bets. We've got Ken Rosenthal joining us for opening day overreactions, which people do, like my team sucks or this guy's going to hit 40 homers, and Colton Wong joining us.
That's really good. Colton Wong is a beast, man.
He's a beast.
He is a beast.
Mariners are one of my big teams this year.
I know,
AJ's been making fun of me.
Talk about overreaction.
Blue Jays. 3-0, Castillo, bullpen. See you later. Ty France homer. Nice dub.
Some theatrics, man. This is opening day is all about. You see some games swinging one way. We're going to talk about the Rangers going down, 5-0?
Yep.
And coming back, winning 11-7. I mean, it's going to be a crazy year, man. I'm really excited after these first games.
And we'll get into pitch clock, but first off, there are two human beings who stole the show on opening day. Number one, Todd Frazier.
Thank you very much.
On the mound for a first pitch that puts a lot of pressure on our boy Pierzynski.
Look at this.
Give me the play-by-play.
So O'Neal Cruz is going to lead off the game. I went high and tight. Oh, baby. I tell you what, that was perfect spot. It was a glorious day. Perfect weather. It was low 60s. Hometown guy Maley there. Nice frame piece. A little better than Kratzy, I would say. Give me that high strike call. Hey, AJ's in some trouble. What do you think?
You left it wide open. If we're playing closest to the green, we're talking like the whole. You're on the green, but you're barely on the green. I might give you a strike because Luke is my guy. That guy is absolutely. I mean, he ripped that thing.
No,
right
it was more like this. Look here, watch here. It wasn't here like people say. It was high and tight. Look, catch.
Hey,
down.
Talk about staying in your lane. That's a lane that I know. If we're talking about framing, if we're talking about hitting, you're my guy. If we're talking about home run derby trophy, you're the guy. Okay? If we're talking about the framing of the masterful magician, as your brother once said in AAA,
what is that?
Your brother got tossed out of a game. He goes, because this guy's back here doing magic stuff.
No, he didn't.
Yes, ask him. Toledo Mud Hens.
I'm going to call him right now. I should.
FaceTime that.
That would be funny. That's awesome. You do. Hey, listen, you were good. I might have told him, hey, listen, give me a little extra there.
And you needed it because it was borderline. You tickled the zone.
Borderline.
Yeah, but it looked like it had solid velocity on it.
Solid. It was Teddy Barrett's back there. I'm getting that call. Let's just be honest.
Teddy Barrett's your boy.
Teddy's the best.
That was your guy.
Yes.
What do you give it? Give me a 1 out of 10. 1 through 10.
6.
You give it a 6?
What? 6? What do you mean? I didn't lob it.
You didn't lob it, but you.
First off,
it was a high strike. I thought you were gonna go like 8.
No,
yeah.
5.
I mean,
5 would be like 6, just because I think it was a strike. Luke, like if your catcher needs to get it, like you're not putting that on Driveline. You're not putting that on. You're not putting that on socials and being like,
6, huh?
It's all over socials.
No,
you think AJ's gonna top that?
No.
I think you might throw it at the backstop.
I think what AJ's got in store,
that's all I need.
He can top it.
I think he's gonna do something. Like he's gonna do something that's gonna go viral or something.
That dude's gonna be all over Chicago, just going like this, just kissing the ring, just kiss the ring, so he can do what he wants.
I like that. I like it.
So someone else actually stole the show from you. Colton Wong's former teammate, Adam Wainwright, starting the year on the injured list, but he surprised everyone. We've got a little piece of the national anthem for the Cardinals home opener, sung by Uncle Charlie. Nailed it.
You know what the toughest part about that is? The echo. Because those mics, you say it, just like when we're talking sometimes, it's like, hello, and then hello, it comes on after. So that was masterful. I got to be honest with you. That was really nice, especially with the echo. I give him a 9 out of 10 there.
Yeah,
10
what?
out of 10. You get out there, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
And it was a sultry
I guess I
voice.
sang before I threw the ball.
Yeah, Russian Judge over here. 10 out of 10, though.
A sultry voice. I mean, it was deep. It was nice. He played in his realm, and I think he sang it exactly how it was supposed to be sung.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give it the Wainwright, special where it was like, and the land.
No, he's saying it's serious. Like, hey, I have an album coming out in July. Which
for real. He's definitely. I mean, I can't wait for the Christmas album. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Need it.
The comments, by the way, for your first pitch and for Waino. So, like for Waino, for example, some people were like, "Hey, Jerry West, move over. New fresh baseball album coming out. Like your old news."
Joe West. You said Jerry.
Jerry's basketball.
I said Jerry 3 weeks ago.
You
still burning me on one thing.
No, you said it today, Jerry.
Did
I say it today?
Yeah.
Listen. Jerry was a beast. I'm not mad at you. I just want to make sure everybody knows
I like
Country Joe.
I like hoops.
I'm a hoops guy.
On your first pitch, two of the ones that stood out, obviously there's some Reds fans that are pissed this year because they're probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
That's fair. So one of them was like, man, we got a position player on the mound already. Season just started. And then the others, a few others were like, can Frazier come out of the bullpen?
I heard that a little bit. I heard that after the game. There was a couple fans. I still get some love over there, man.
Did they yell that out to you, though? Like, you're walking around? What were fans saying to you in Cincinnati?
We missed you. The home run derby was awesome. Like, just the stuff that, the stuff I did back in the day.
Did anyone ask you about the ball club this year? They're like, what do we got to do?
How are we going to get better? A couple times, yeah. I mean, listen.
What are you going to tell them?
Yeah,
like,
I'm not the GM.
Hey, you seen the Cardinals roster?
I'm not the GM.
No,
I know what they told. I know what you told them. I'm working for Yes Network. I'm a big Yankees guy. Good luck this year.
So I went to a function before the game, all the season ticket holders, and I said, well, name your favorite team besides the Reds. And everybody's like, ooh. I'm like, all right, well, Danny Graves was getting inducted to Hall of Fame. He was a closer for the Reds back in the late 90s. He's like, my favorite team's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And everybody started laughing. I'm like, well, I'm going to be honest. I'm rooting for the Yankees, too. And they're like, boo. They started booing me or whatever. I said, that's what you're going to get from me. I said, I don't know what to tell you.
Say, screw you guys. You let me go.
Well,
could have been a Red for life.
It wasn't them that let me go. It was the brass there.
Obviously. But I'm saying.
Well, that's them.
That's the whole.
You pit the fan. Yeah, but you pit the fans against that guy.
That's what you do. Hey, they let me go. I would have stayed. Otherwise, I would have
my number was 55 million.
Yeah, listen, I was feeling real happy. I was getting some love, so I wanted to be nice. Okay?
Love that.
All right, so let's get to news. We got about 10 minutes until we bring on our insider Ken Rosenthal. So I want to start with average game time on opening day, about 2 hours, 43 minutes. Let's go. Last year, average time was 3 hours, 11 minutes. Average game time. Look how much we jumped. Only one game yesterday went above that mark. I think it was actually the Cardinals-Blue Jays game that went real long.
Which was awesome.
And it was a great game. That's fine. We're not mad at those. The ones I loved? There was like 2 or 3 clunkers yesterday. I think the Tigers game kind of sucked. There's one other game where there was like 5 errors and a lot of pitching changes. And I'm like, this is the kind of game that I used to always call. Yeah, like the YouTube game of the week. They would screw me over sometimes and give me like the 2 bad Midwest teams. It would be 20 pitching changes, 4+ hours, and you're like, this is going to turn fans off if they're looking at this particular product. Now, this year, those kind of games are shorter. They're like 2 hours 50, 3 hours.
And not to interrupt you, I think it's going to get better. I think opening day, it's a little bit more crazy, a little more hectic. You don't know exactly who you want to bring in yet, but you have it, as a manager, you have everything written down, but there was a lot more pitch and changes. Like Hunter Green, we'll talk about him. He just threw a lot of pitches in 3 or 4 innings. It's tough. You got to get him out. So he was in the 60-something mark in the 3rd inning. So you only got to cut. You have maybe 1.5, 1 in the 3rd inning left after that. But overall, we'll take it. We'll take 243.
Yeah, 100%. There's no way you're gonna argue with that unless you're the Phillies. And we'll get to Realmuto's comments. Like that game could have gotten. That would have been a 4-hour piece in a regular game. It's like, boom, stuff was happening quick, and it was like, holy crap, ball off the wall, homer, next pitch. Okay.
Here we go.
It spiraled on him a little bit.
Yep. It was incredibly entertaining, though. Phillies Rangers, because you're getting all of that, what you would get usually in a 4.5-hour game, in like 3 hours. It's the same amount of action. The runs are scoring, right? There's a 9-run inning, and still that game was in the 3-hour range, I think.
Yeah, they were just over. They were
just over 3.
They were just over 3. But it's also
a 15-run game, right? Was it 9-6?
More than that.
No.
11-7.
18-run game.
Let's not forget, DeGrom and Nola, same number line. 3 2/3, 5 earned runs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, DeGrom hasn't given up that many extra base hits in his whole career. Like,
since a rehab assignment.
Since high school, maybe. I mean, listen, there's some trends going on here. I mean, these top dogs. I mean, Scherzer, he had a bad inning. I'm not saying it's going to keep going, but the guys are ready to bang out. They're ready to hit.
They'll adjust.
Yeah.
They'll adjust. Yeah.
They'll adjust.
The stolen bases are real. We'll get to that too. With Rosenthal. We'll get to that, and we'll get to the Phillies because there was a good story in The Athletic. But let's also look at the late action, which I'll kind of be our late game specialist this year because I'm always up for that shit.
I'll be up.
You'll be up?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll be up.
So you and me, Kratzy and AJ are kind of sleeping early usually.
No,
did you catch A's Angels and what else did I watch?
I caught Ohtani.
LA.
That's it. Ohtani, and I was like, uncle.
Well, and then you go to sleep and you know they're going to lose, so you're good.
Well, that's what I need to lock in more on the Angels because you hate the Angels, and I want to like the Angels.
I
want to like the Angels for
baseball.
Mm-hmm. I want to like the Angels for my guy Phil Nevin, maybe the most jacked manager in the game.
Nevin. But he doesn't have a bullpen this year, Kratzy.
For Brett Phillips, I want to like the Angels for so many reasons that I think our Moreno wants to spend. So let's get this guy. I'm not saying a ring, but I want it because I want to have some kind of beef with you. I got plenty of beef with AJ and Todd.
We beef it up.
I've been giving the Angels a hard time for 10 years. Seriously. Not the players, the team. Yeah. The overall team itself has not been built to be a playoff team for 10 years, and they're wasting away. This is the thing I got in trouble for when I was at the old job. They were like, don't go too hard on him. I'm like, the team's not good. I was getting into beef with one of the Angels broadcasters. And he was obviously he's going to support them. No, I love Matty D, Victor Rojas, and he was. Yeah. We were getting beat. He was like, you don't watch our games. I'm like, I watch all your games, dude. These guys aren't good. This was 8 years ago, and I was like, you guys got to make the playoffs. Like, you got the best player in the sport. Now they have the two best in the sport. Pitching. Last night was the perfect example, though.
Yeah,
I freaking knew they were going to win that game. Should have live bet.
That's why I want to like them, and that's why I want to stay up late for those live bet.
Yes.
Like, when you start to understand a bullpen, you understand how a team is using certain guys and how managers freak out in situations, but they also show you I played my cards the night before. If you're watching the game's just like, hey, this is how this could play out. Boom.
Yeah.
You're giving me 1 plus 160. I'll take that. I'll take that. I would never bet for Oakland. Oakland's going to have less wins than the Angels.
But opening, of course, are you seriously making a take?
That's
easy.
That's
the coldest take on the planet.
It's a high school take.
Right? Yeah, that's a high school take.
That's high school coach.
Yeah.
Hey,
the kidcaster comes in.
Hey, we're bunting. We're bunting.
I love it. Hey, listen, all good. All good.
It's opening day, though. Oakland, I mean, it wasn't full house, but Oakland's got people going there for opening day, and it's Ohtani. And they kept the game close, and then late. And the Angels' problem is probably going to be their bullpen, I think, this year. It's not great. And that's exactly how it played out. So Oakland's going to – they decide the game.
They're going to squander a couple wins.
Yeah, they're going to ruin some seasons for some people.
And Nicky Allen is going to he's going to find a way to win.
Allen's probably their best player.
He might be.
Yeah.
I'm a big Seth Brown fan.
I like them all, man.
A lot of thump.
So Ohtani was amazing. 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, calling his own pitches with the pitch comm. So 2 things I took from yesterday. Number 1, his coffee order was revealed. Iced soy latte, extra shot of espresso. I'll take it. Number 2,
a little jolt.
He's a unicorn for a reason. It's not the pitching and the hitting. He's calling the game on PitchCom. He memorized the buttons. Did you see that? On his shoulder.
Wow.
He puts it under the uniform, and it's on his shoulder, and he's got the buttons memorized like you're playing a video game. Everybody else has it more revealed, and they're kind of looking.
Or it's on the
that was one of the big stories
awesome.
That they were talking about, and then someone put up a story about it on, I think it was on ESPN. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's no-look PitchCom.
It makes it easier
because he has too many pitches. Here's the one thing with the pitch clock. Exactly. If you're like, you know who I want to see? Darvish, because he's got 20 pitches.
Supposedly he has 11 pitches. I remember he said it one time. He had a new pitch 4 or 5 years ago. He had another one. They said, "Oh, that's 11." I said, and I'm going through like all the pitches. I'm like,
there's not 11 pitches.
I think I found 11. I don't know how, but with the knuckleball, but he doesn't throw a knuckleball, so I don't know.
But here's my problem, okay? So now with the pitch clock, you got to be quick. If you got 11 pitches, that's why a lot of the guys are going to call their own pitches, right? Like imagine Kratzy, if you're back there and you got to catch Darvish and you're like, 4? And he's like, nah. 9? Yeah. Nah. All right, well, there's ball 1. I mean, you're bagged. It's for the pitch clock. So for Ohtani, he's going to call him himself. He's going to do the no-look shoulder, hit the circle button on the PlayStation controller and let me go.
That's phenomenal.
He's going to go XX.
Yeah.
XX. Oh, power pitch. Here it is.
102.
101. The one strikeout was Paint City to it wasn't Liriano.
I saw that one.
I saw that.
That was
101.
It was highlights. Low and away. Just
Paint City.
Disgusting.
You'd have to get bigger. With your hands, they're this thick. They're 4.5 inches thick. So you'd have to find a pitch combo with buttons this big. Boom, 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 boom.
I would, my finger would hit the button, and it'd be like, fastball curve slide.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah, trouble.
Hey, so I want to show how well Ohtani's doing off the field. This is big. Have you guys seen this? So, yeah, he's making $30 million on the settlement on the arbitration, right? They came up to that number. He's making more in endorsements. That's good awesome. Shit right there. So for the podcast crowd, if you're just listening, I'll read the tweet for you from Joe Pompliano, Sportico, I believe he's from. Wow. Shohei Ohtani's going to earn $70 million this year, according to Sportico. There you go. Salary, $30 million. Endorsements, $40 million. 35 more in endorsement income than any other MLB player. $70 million in earnings is an MLB record. He is the face of baseball globally.
That's unbelievable. God bless.
Celebrate that man.
He fucking deserves it.
I mean, New Balance for life. This dude's New Balance head to toe. I used to say when I had New Balance sponsorship, I was the ugly face of New Balance, and Lindor was the good-looking face.
Yeah.
Lindor the face of New Balance?
The ugly face. They gave me like the stock New Balance. Hey, what team are you on? Phillies? You're gonna get red. Like they're not giving me like the camo stuff.
It wasn't the Philly red, that maroon kind of red.
Yeah, it was like what's the AAA?
Red, yeah.
What's the AAA team's colors?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
But that like he's New Balance head to toe. But to say he's $35 million more than the next closest guy, nobody has.
I thought
you don't believe that?
Making a lot.
I don't believe that.
Like
I'm not saying he's not that much of a guy. I'm saying
Trout with Nike. He does some commercials.
But $5 million?
There's some.
But it's not. See, the thing is, those places like Forbes too, like they put numbers out there. I think their estimate, they don't have everybody's deal for endorsements.
I don't know how you can find that out, unless you go through agencies and stuff.
Some of the deals and then some of them you don't. Yeah. We get the shoe deals usually are public. I think almost on purpose, right? Especially NBA guys, when they sign, it's like it's a flex.
It's a flex. Like, hey, you didn't get as much as that.
How much is your shoe deal?
And those guys complain about it a lot. You hear them on TV and around writing it down, man. Like they always complain about the football players complain about the Madden score, right? They weren't a 99 or in the video games. You know what I mean?
That's a big flex.
That's a big thing. And,
I
remember, I think it was like DeAndre Hopkins. I could be wrong. I don't want to call any names out, but there were some guys that, like, yo, dude, I'm a 99. And they're like, oh, my God, here we go. But
arguing about it.
I wish they broke down what he's getting, like how much New Balance is really giving him, how much is, whatever watches or whatever car companies,
his social presence exploded in the WBC.
Of course it did.
It exploded, and it shows, and I've ranted about this so many times, like it showed this is where we're at in the game. It's there.
Yeah.
It is lazy that it's not sold more. That's what it is. And it's not lazy by the players. So you get to choose who is lazy by.
Yep.
And he is the face of baseball. Clearly, just follow the money. He's the face of baseball.
My only thing is just he's got to play playoff baseball. He hinted about it in the WBC. Let's bring in our 99 rating on any video game out there. Top insider in the sport. Ken Rosenthal joining us right now. Ken, look, we're all in the same place, so it's just us and you. Frazier Friday. Happy opening day and Frazier Friday to you. We were talking about Ohtani. I think kind of stealing the show late night last night. How was your opening day?
It's great, but I'm not doing as well as Todd is, man. That's quite the setup there. I like it.
Hey, you're welcome anytime you want. You're in New York. Come on down.
I'm in Jersey, Todd. I can come down.
Yeah, you're in Jersey. You got an off day. You should have. Oh, that would have been sweet. You should.
Yeah. There ain't no off days for Ken.
We'll get one day. One day this year. One day, Ken.
One day. Okay, sounds good. But I was at Yankee Stadium yesterday, and it was really good. The pace of the game was great. The game itself was really good. Obviously not for the Giants, much more so for the Yankees. But by and large, a very interesting opening day to say the least. And we saw some issues with the timer. We saw some different things happening, and I'm sure we're going to continue to see that. But we are in an adjustment period right now, and I would expect that over time the players will adjust. We saw most of them adjust just fine yesterday, but there were some situations that arose that were a little different, and it maybe required a pause that is no longer available.
Crazy. Hey, is Judge going to hit 162 home runs this year now? What do you got? I mean, that's phenomenal. Second pitch of the game or for the Yankees coming out, dead center, man. How was the crowd? It must have been electric.
Yeah, it was electric there. And as electric as an opening day crowd can be at Yankee Stadium, which is not the same as an opening day crowd at the old Yankee Stadium or a regular season crowd at the new Yankee Stadium. You know, opening day is a little different. You got all the people coming out, kind of a celebrity type crowd. But no, it was pretty good there yesterday. And certainly for Anthony Volpe, there was a lot of excitement as well.
Hey, Ken, I want to get back to the pitch clock. There was a great article by Matt Gelb about the Phillies game. We were covering a little bit like 5 minutes ago what went down there and how JT Realmuto essentially was saying, like, my job is to slow the pitchers down. I can't do that anymore. I mean, I remember Marcus Stroman said late last night after his game, like, I ran out of breath. So what were your thoughts on that front? You're going to get complaints here, and some of them we understand and we're listening, not that they're necessarily going to change.
I didn't perceive Realmuto's comments as complaints, as more simply an adjustment to a new reality. And there is a new reality. And that game sped up yesterday. And Erik and Todd know this, and anyone who's played the game knows this. The game, while it looks slow at times, can really speed up. And it's true for managers, it's true for players, it's true for everybody who is involved in the action. And that's what happened with Nola. And Realmuto's point was that, hey, I wasn't able to do what I normally could do. Now, he didn't offer that as an excuse. And we saw some other issues too. Karinchak with Cleveland before the homer by France, a 3-run homer that decided that game. He had a problem. He is a guy that has not been that quick, and he had to adjust. And Hunter Green had an automatic ball called on him before a home run that he gave up to O'Neal Cruz. So there were these things that happened yesterday, and the Phillies game was maybe the most interesting and prominent among them. And it just shows, again, that there is going to be an adjustment period, and certain situations will be more difficult than others. And pitch calm comes into play, too. The crowd was loud in Seattle, and that caused some problems for Karinchak with Cleveland and that whole scenario there. So I am interested to see how this plays out. On balance, there weren't that many incidents yesterday at all, really. It was pretty tame, and I expect it's going to get even fewer as we go along. But it is a different game, and in my view, it's a better game. The dead time is out. It's still baseball. It's still 9 innings. It's still 27 outs. All the things we love, and perhaps more athleticism too. But the Realmuto thing was interesting to me because we didn't see that in spring training. Games don't speed up on players in spring training. The outcomes don't matter. But now that the outcomes matter, now that we're in the 162-game championship season, a little bit different, and that's what we saw in the Phillies game.
Are we going to see 3,402 stolen bases this year?
I don't know. We were debating this last night. I was involved in a panel discussion with some other athletic writers, and the question we got from the audience was, which rule is going to have the biggest impact? And I said the bigger bases and the disengagement rule because it seems to me that stolen bases are going to go way up. Now, Eno Saris from The Athletic, who's our statistical expert, he believed that the batting average on balls in play, while not varying so much individual to individual, he believes a big jump is coming, and that will obviously have a huge effect. But, Erik, to get to your question, there is no doubt that there are going to be more stolen bases, more stolen base attempts. Just look at the opening day numbers this year versus last. 21 steals yesterday, 6 steals opening day last year. Now, it's coming off a lockout last year. Maybe that had an effect, but it's a different game. And you're going to see more running, and that's a healthy thing, in my opinion. Tougher on the catchers, no doubt, but good for the game, good action.
Hey, Ken, there were some injuries yesterday. Max Fried had to leave the game with the hamstring issue. We learned before the Mets game that Justin Verlander's hitting the shelf with the shoulder issue. That Terry's Major that we heard about with who is it? Tristan McKenzie as well, who's going to be out for potentially a couple months. So any other injury buzz that you heard about yesterday, or your reaction to those two injuries, especially for me, like for example, with the Mets, I mean, part of having a rotation that's really mid to upper 30s is your chances of dealing with this, in my mind, are probably going to be higher. I mean, you got a 38-year-old Scherzer, a 48-year-old Verlander. Quintana's going to miss a good chunk of the season. He's in his mid-30s. Kodai Senga's like the young guy. They're like, look at this young 30-year-old in the rotation. So what were your thoughts on what we learned so far with the injuries?
I'm with you, Scott. And the Mets certainly, this is the issue with their team. They have an older rotation. Older players, older pitchers in particular, are more prone to injuries. We saw this with Scherzer last year. Scherzer has had, by and large, a remarkably healthy career for a pitcher who, at one time, was traded by the Diamondbacks because they thought he was going to break down. And he took that to heart, and he stayed healthy. But he was 37 last year. He's 38 now. Things happen at these ages that didn't necessarily happen when guys were younger. And yes, this is the question with the Mets going forward. They say the Verlander thing is not major. He's going to continue throwing. We will see. My other thought on this was really related to the WBC. And for all the hand-wringing clubs do, all the worrying, all the complaining about the WBC and how they don't want players leaving their watch because heaven knows they might get hurt. My question is, how do players do when they're on the club's watch? Guess what? They get hurt. They get hurt all the time. Now, listen, the Diaz thing was most unfortunate. It was horrible. The Altuve thing, same. But the Altuve thing in particular could have happened at any point. And even with the Diaz thing, players get hurt all the time in all kinds of weird ways. So when we talk about the WBC the next time, and everyone's wringing their hands again, and the club officials are just saying, oh, we can't have our guys going, and it's just a worrisome thing to us. I get it. It is a worrisome thing. No question. It's a higher level of competition than players are accustomed to at that time of year. But if you're going to worry about this and you're going to make a stink about it, do a better job keeping your own guys healthy. No team does. I'm sorry. And it's just part of the game. It's just the reality that we live in. And we've gotten so much better at nutrition and training and sports medicine, every aspect of health. And yet players still get hurt because why? It's a physically straining game. Simple as that.
Is there any discussions? Like, are you hearing any discussions about like, shortening spring training and, kind of like what football does? If they're complaining, we don't want to send them to WBC, but now this is what we pick up, some injuries from some other guys. Are there discussions? Has that ever come up?
Eric, I've never heard about a shortened spring training discussion. Obviously, last year when we had the shorter spring training, it proved that you can get ready that quickly, and it wasn't that big a deal for most players. But spring training is a business too. The camps in Florida and Arizona make a lot of money for those municipalities, and one reason those parks were built and the commitment was made by those different places is because they make money. So it's kind of that deal. But I mean, really the answer here, guys, is to shorten the season, right? We could play 140, but that's never going to happen either for financial reasons on both sides. The owners don't want to make less money, and nor do the players. They don't want 140 divided by 162 in their salary. They want the 162. So that, to me, would be a better way to do it, and you could build in more recovery time that way, but I just don't ever foresee it happening.
Hey, Ken, I'm going to stick with some more Yankee questions. Anthony Volpe, man, he looked kind of comfortable yesterday, looked like a true Yankee player. What did you think about him? How is he as a person? And what did Logan Webb say about him after the game?
Well, I don't know him yet as a person, Todd. Everybody says great things about him. But I did talk to Logan Webb after that game about that first plate appearance. And if you watch the game, and I'm sure most people who are watching us didn't, but Volpe drew a walk in his first plate appearance. It was a 3-2 count, and it was a situation where he took 4 pitches, all 4 balls, that were very close to the strike zone. Webb was really right on the outer edge, and there was also a called strike on the outer edge as well. And on 2-2, one of the writers in the press box I was sitting with turned and said, "Oh, he's going to be swinging out of his shoes here. He's all excited. He's just going to go nuts." And that's the way a normal young player would react, right? He took the pitch, and then he walked on the next pitch. So when I asked Webb about that after the game, he said yes. He made an immediate impression on me with that. He said, "I'm not saying he's going to be Juan Soto. Juan Soto was a very special player with his discipline and all that, but he said Volpe is going to draw his share of walks." And it just looks like, guys, from everything we've seen so far and everything you hear from what the Yankees say, not only does he have solid physical tools, his tools aren't out of sight, but he has an instinct for the game. He works his tail off. He just seems to have a great feel. And it's going to take him a long way. Ultimately, is he going to be superstar X or a little bit below that or what? We don't know. We don't know where he's going to end up. But it seems like he is going to be a very good player.
Ken, so the Yanks win. Good things for them in the AL East. The Orioles win. They look good. Adley Rutschman, 5 hits. And, of course, their owner really stepped up for us as well. John Angelos giving us some nice quotable content as usual. So we've got some comments to run through from him. So this is from January, quote, "I'm very transparent. I'll take you down on the 3rd floor and I'll show you the financials of the Orioles. I'll show you the governance of the Orioles. I'll show you everything you want to know." That was when he had that forum, and then reporters started asking him questions, and he was trying to say, like, this isn't the time for it, even though that's how they got the reporters. And you should Google that. There's great articles on The Athletic. Dan Connolly, who covers the Orioles. This is February. Quote, "When I say something like I'm going to sit down with you guys, explain the business from my perspective, I'm going to do it." Okay, let's fast forward again. Can we get to March now, please? Yesterday, when asked about signing young players to extensions, quote, "They're going to do what they can within the system that they're in." Does that mean extensions? Absolutely. I would hope so. But you got to go with the system you're in. It's much, 3 muches, tougher to be in the baseball system than in the football or basketball system. I feel terrible for John for owning the Baltimore Orioles, Ken. So he addressed that. And then also, of course, as he's promised 90 times to open up his books, he has not done that. And I think he actually went back at someone and said, like, open up your books. I think, like, your newspaper report, open up your books.
He
like,
did. He said that.
To be called out.
He said that to the Baltimore Sun, that, hey, you guys aren't opening your books. Why should I open my books? Well, the Baltimore Sun wasn't the entity that volunteered to open their books, right? And that's my old paper. And we covered John Angelos back when I was still there in the mid-90s. And let's just say we could foresee a lot of things that have happened. And a lot of the things I wrote about the Angelos family, I took a lot of heat for, especially the dad, mostly the dad. But we're seeing it all play out. Let's put it that way. And I don't understand why he is talking at all along these lines, why he is so defensive, why he is so aggressive in certain ways, and why he is complaining about the system in which he's in. If he doesn't like it, if any owner doesn't like it, you sell your team. Get out. And you'll make a profit. You'll do really well. In fact, the Orioles were bought for $173 million in, I believe it was 1993. And I remember that day as a columnist for the Baltimore Sun, I wrote, and this proved to be one of my worst columns ever. 173 million? They paid 173 million. They won't have enough money to buy players. Well, now they're worth like 2 billion. So they're doing okay. Every team is doing okay, and the Orioles are doing most okay because they haven't paid players really very well for several years now. So here they are. They're in the middle of what looks like their ascent. And yesterday was a good day for them, no question. Adley Rutschman is going to be a star. Connor Henderson looks like he's going to be a star. But the owner or the president of the team, the CEO, John Angelos, he's saying these things and it does no one any good. It doesn't do his reputation any good. It doesn't make him more popular with fans when he says the Baltimore Sun should open its books. No, we all get what's going on here. So there's not much more I can say about it. There's not much more I want to say about it. I don't even know that it's really worthy of more discussion. He is who he is, and he can run his team however he sees fit. But at the same time, I believe the Baltimore Orioles are doing just fine financially, as are many, many, many other teams.
Here's the key follow for me, because you're right. I mean, yeah, we can dunk on comments, but for fans, this is what's important, especially as the season is starting. Last year, team looked really good, surprisingly good. They trade off a couple of their players, a couple of their key players, basically indicating like, nah, not this year. Like, I know we're playing well, but not this year yet for us to make the playoffs because we haven't suffered enough. Now we go to the offseason. Basically didn't do anything. Now we go to this season, day one. They look good. Adley looks awesome. You have the owner the day before or on opening day, basically saying like, until we're like the NBA or the NFL, then we're probably just not going to spend much. As a fan, I'm extremely heated now because I'm worried that our star players that were home growing are not going to get extended. We're not going to make major trades from, especially if it's a player that costs a lot at the deadline. Like, I'm worried about the state of the team playing to its best ability, because they basically said instead of being like the Astros now, we're going to be try and be like the Rays, which is a completely different game plan. So is that what we should read between the lines for in this case?
Scott, actually, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. And I wrote about this in spring training. At some point, it's nice to have the number one farm system. It's great to have all this young talent, and they do. They are in a great position. But to get to the next step, they're going to have to spend money at some point. Now, I thought it was going to happen this offseason as well. And they didn't really do that. As you said, they kind of just patched a little bit and did a few minor upgrades, but didn't spend in a big way. Kyle Gibson, the trade for Irvin, these are not big moves. At some point, maybe it's this deadline, they're going to be faced with a position where they've got a shot. And either at that particular time, you take that shot, you trade young talent for a high priced player. Let's say it's Corbin Burns, just as an example. Or do you sit back again and do nothing? And extensions are another part of this. Now, maybe Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson don't want to sign extensions, which is their every right. But you've got to take a shot like other teams do. Look, the Guardians just did with Andres Jimenez. So that, to me, is the test for this organization. They can talk all they want and talk justifiably about where they are and how much they are on the rise and how exciting this is to have all this young talent. But there comes a threshold that you've got to cross, and it's a financial threshold. I'm not saying a set number of dollars. What I'm saying is you've got to, at some point, invest more heavily in your team to make it that much more competitive and to realize the potential of that club. Otherwise, you're wasting these guys in their affordable years. And I don't know that Orioles fans want to see that happen. So if I were an Orioles fan right now, I'd be watching very carefully to see how this team conducts itself from here going forward, and then make my judgments then. It's not as simple as saying, hey, we've got great young players. That's nice. It's good. It's really good. And they should have good young players as high as they've drafted for the past several years. But again, one more time, at some point, you've got to take the next step, and that involves spending money.
Calling the San Diego Padres. Padres, this is the Orioles calling. We'd like to figure out how to run this whole baseball operation. What you're talking about is competitiveness. And I think that's all fans really want, is just competitiveness.
Yes.
But when you go to like a product and selling a product, and Art Moreno coming out and doing what with the Angels radio broadcast, like that's half your product. I don't know what radio ratings are and all that stuff, but like what is your feeling on how this is like? Are they trying to change the landscape? Do they really think this is going to like be handled well?
I don't know. You're talking about the Angels, right, Eric?
The Angels, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Angels not taking their radio broadcasters.
Obviously, a lot of people have weighed in on this. A lot of people who work in radio and who understand what it means to be at a game, to broadcast at a game versus in a studio. They have commented, and they've all been pretty unanimous, saying the way the Angels are going about it isn't the best way to serve your fans. And I would imagine that, like a lot of things that kind of were outgrowths of the pandemic, they think maybe they can continue this practice, and the listener is not going to know the difference. And television networks have done the same in some regards. They've taken different approaches. Now, different networks are at different places with this, but there is nothing like for a broadcaster being at the ballpark. And I'm not a play-by-play person. I'm not an analyst like AJ is for Fox, but I know in their jobs, it's really difficult to work off a monitor, and it's just difficult to have the same feel. So there's not much I can say about this other than rely on the people who actually are experts, the radio people, and they say that this isn't the way to go about it. And most fans would probably agree. And the difference between a live broadcast at the park and one from a studio somewhere in LA might not be that perceptible to the average fan, but there is a difference. And if you care about quality, you care about that difference, and you want that difference not to exist.
And take it from someone who, like, say, during the pandemic called a game where I was in a studio, one person was on delay somewhere else, one person somewhere else. The first game I ended up doing was a Red Sox game. They're all over me because at Fenway, you can't see once the ball's going that way towards the monster where to pick up the ball. It's tough. So one more Angels thought for you, because we're getting some fan questions. And of course, it's already going to fire up when Ohtani goes on the mound. He absolutely dazzles. I was even adding on he's a unicorn because he's calling his own pitches on his shoulder without even looking at the buttons like some of the guys do. I mean, just next level ridiculousness from him. 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts. Already, of course, you get the, hey, where's he going? So, for example, BC in the YouTube chat said, does Ken think the Dodgers freed up all those wages because they expect to sign Ohtani? And just as many questions, even in the past 24 hours, Ken, about, hey, if the Angels season doesn't go the way that they think it's going to go, then is this guy legitimately going to be dealt? Because I know if they're contending at all, it sounds like Artie Moreno said they're going to keep him, or at least that's what they say. But if not, I mean, it's going to be the story player movement-wise of the season.
Okay, there's a couple of things we should hit here. The possibility of a trade if they fall out of contention. Now, I wrote this the other day. It's going to be difficult for them to fall out of contention. They're a talented group. There are 3 wild cards, and last night was 1 game, okay? I know it's opening day, but it's 1 game. I do expect they're going to be a better team, and I do expect that they'll, at least on July 15th or so, have a shot at the wild card still. Now, if they don't, and that is really what is fueling all this, the possibility that they might fall out of contention, I do imagine that they would entertain a trade, and they probably could make a really good trade, even though at that point, Ohtani would be a rental player available for just 2 months and possibly a 3rd month in the postseason. But if they were going to do that, they should have done it last summer. They could have made the same kind of trade that the Padres ended up making with the Nationals for Juan Soto. The Nationals ended up getting that great bounty from the Padres. That could have been the Angels' bounty. It would have transformed them in many ways. Now, they didn't choose that course. At the time, they weren't even for sale. Then they went for sale, and then they were taken off the market. So now they are back in Artie Moreno's hands, and he may very well, if they're out of contention, say, okay, let's trade him. And they may very well do okay, but they're not going to do as well as they would have done last summer. Now, as for the Dodgers, their payroll decisions this offseason were based on a number of things. One was their uncertainty over Bauer and how much they would have to pay him. Remember, at that point, his suspension was in the hands of an independent arbiter, and that arbiter ultimately was going to decide where the suspension was. Would it be fully upheld? Would it be stricken down entirely? Would it be somewhere in the middle? And it basically was close to where the original suspension was, but they didn't know that at the time. So they were a little concerned in that regard. They also had these young players, one of whom had a huge game last night, James Outman. He is someone they really like. Miguel Vargas is someone they really like. Pepio, they just put on the IL. He's the pitcher. They've got a number of pitchers they like as well. They've got other position players they like as well. They feel that this next wave is ready to come on now and become what the previous group was, the Bellinger, Will Smith, that group. So those were 2 factors. But to say that Ohtani was not a factor, I think that would be mistaken. Yes, they were trying to free up money as well. And at one point, they were looking to be below the luxury tax figure or threshold and reset for next year, which would have put them in an even better position, at least in terms of penalties, with a possible Ohtani signing. They're now over the tax, but at the same time, financially, yes, they have room for him. I mean, they have room for him anyway, but that was definitely part, I would think, of their decision-making process.
I have one more before you jump on Ohtani. I read as we talked to you a couple days before, your season preview notes. Hey, here's some of the biggest storylines. And I think you put in there Ohtani in the offseason could get like 2 contracts. Is that ringing a bell there where it's pitcher and hitter? And I'm reading that. I actually wanted to ask you about that. It came up as you were talking about Ohtani. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I said was, Scott, that if you trade for him, you're essentially trading for 2 players, right? You're trading for the starting pitcher and you're trading for the hitter, the designated hitter. And if that's the case in a trade consideration, wouldn't it be the case in a free agent consideration? Of course, you're signing both guys. And if that's the case, then would his agent be well served, or actually, would a team approach Ohtani and say, listen, we want to sign you to 2 separate contracts. One is a hitter, one is a pitcher. We don't know where this is going. Maybe in 5 years, you're not a pitcher anymore. Maybe in 5 years, you just take it another way entirely. I believe a team might want to do that, but if you're Ohtani, you're saying, let's go. I'm Shohei Ohtani. I'm the best player in the game. You're getting me, and you're getting this package, and we're not doing 2 deals. You're paying me $500 right now, or whatever the number is, and you're not settling for 2 different contracts, one of which, of course, might not come into play as much if you become a lesser player at that skill level or whatever. So I can see a team thinking that way, Scott. I just can't see Ohtani entertaining it. In my view, he's going to have so much demand that he can dictate his terms, and he can say, I'm not signing 2 separate contracts. I'm signing 1 contract. We'll see where it goes. You get me. You get all that involves me. You talked about his endorsements before. That is the personal endorsement side of it. There's also a certain amount of money that the clubs make that signs him. The Angels make money because they have Shohei Ohtani. Specific money, just related to him. So he's going to do quite well, and he's not going to need 2 contracts to do it.
Yeah, I've read about that. Numbers at least in like the 8 mil, maybe 10, 12 or more on certain signage that they can sell, all of that, right? Team wise, where they can capitalize too, which, hey, I mean, you're getting some of that money back right off the jump, more so than most players. So Ken, great stuff. Happy opening day. You're at Yankee Stadium this weekend, right? For the Fox game?
I am, yes. Tomorrow we have inclement weather perhaps, but yes, Fox at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Ken, where are you at right now? You said you're in Jersey. Where are you?
He's at a spot.
You have a spot in Jersey.
He's not going to give his address away.
No,
exactly. I'm not giving my address out, man. I have enough problems.
What town do you live in? Give me a city, something.
I'm not giving you the town either.
No, come on, man. I got to know that.
Offline.
I'll text you.
Off the record.
I will text you.
Yeah,
I know. I'll have my people talk to your people.
He just wants to make sure you're protected. Jersey Todd is here.
I appreciate that, but I'm not protected if I give out my hometown on the old airwaves here.
Hey, everybody knows where I live, so I mean, might as well.
Well, everyone knows where you played Little League. Exactly.
Boom.
Hey, Ken, awesome. We appreciate it. Happy opening day. Have fun at the game tomorrow. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
You trying to get people to give their address?
I wasn't trying to get the address. I just want to see what city he was at.
How close he's going to be swimming with the fishes.
Hey.
How close are you to the water, Ken?
I didn't say that.
How close are you to Bayonne?
Could be Jersey City. He's probably. You know what I'm going to think?
Don't even Google him, man.
I'm going to say Montclair. That's where I'm thinking. But whatever.
No, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you. I know the answer, but it's in your chat.
I mean, Scott's got a Life 360 on
sure if you
on
Google
Ken.
it, you'd find it.
Google me.
Whatever.
All right, so let's try a new segment out today that I'd like to make somewhat of a regular thing here before Colton Wong joins us, second baseman of the Seattle Mariners. And I already see some questions in the YouTube chat, which I like. I'm trying to get that going a little bit too. Questions from the crowd for our guests. So it's called That's What He Said. Any Office fans? You guys watch The Office?
Yeah.
Here and there.
Here and there. You've seen it though. You know what we're talking about.
It's a pretty funny show.
It's funny. Michael Scott's.
I like the guy that just looks at the camera like, what's the guy's like? He says something and just looks at the camera like this. It's got to be Jim, right?
I mean, most of them do, but like it's kind of like that's kind of the shtick.
No, that's the tall guy. He marries the
Jim.
broad on
Jim
there.
is
it's got to be Jim.
Yep.
But he's the funny one.
He's good. Dwight's good. Anyway, that's what he said. We'll look through a few quotes from the night before or after the games and either slice them up, give our thoughts, or as AJ wants to do sometimes, if it's like the cookie cutter bullshit, he wants to say, so what he really meant to say was.
I like that.
So let's start with Marcus Stroman. So he made some history. He had a great performance, first of all. He shut down the Brewers, but also made history as the first pitch clock violator of all time. Didn't hurt him too much, didn't give up a run. But he said afterward, I do feel super rushed at times, even between innings. I'm running out there very early to warm up in between. Foul comes up, and you don't even have time to rub the new ball up. And I'm a big breather. Sometimes I'm not able to catch my breath and find my proper breathing that I do before pre-pitch. It's definitely been a dynamic that's going to be tough on some guys. That was my thing always, Kratzy, was, the relievers especially would just, I think they caused this to an extent. There's some guys that were 45, 50 seconds. I felt like they were getting 30 breaths in so that they could fire another 100 plus. So I get what he's saying. I mean, breathing's a huge part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. You're talking about hunch. Like these videos on Twitter of guys throwing 100, they're like smelling salt. They're getting velo slaps on their back. Like all that takes time. And then they're just, they don't care where it goes. A guy like Stroman, he's a command guy. Incredible amount of movement yesterday. Holy crap. I'd be taking those balls and being like, what are you doing? But he was moving it around the strike zone. If a quick pitcher, somebody who moves fast and really gets on the mound and goes like he is, because he relies on contact and he gets strikeouts because guys don't want to make contact on, that crap he's putting on the bottom of the zone. Mm-hmm. And for him to say, whoa, like, I needed it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. It'd be like if Mark Burley said something. He's kind of in that ilk because we played together. All three of us played together. Burley at the end of his career, Stroman and I were all on the same team. So, I'm not saying he goes after what Burley did, but like you learn from the veteran guys that had success. And, so when a guy like that says something, it means something. If Ohtani says he needs to speed up, like it's like, or Aaron Nola, those guys, they work slow. They breathe, and, they don't hold runners well. So
Stroman's the guy. You've seen the videos online on Instagram stuff. He does all these breathing techniques. Before games, you see him on all fours doing these all these, which is all
is that
great.
For the game or is that for Instagram?
No, he does it all the time, which is great. He's working his core, doing all these things. He does a lot of holds, does the shimmies a little bit. I'm going to go on the other end. I think this helps him because there's not much thinking involved now. He likes to take his time. I know he's a big breather. I get it. He comes within himself, calms his brain down and does all that. But mentally, it's like, you know what? I got to get going. I can't be thinking about all this other, not necessarily distractions. That's always been part of his game. But now, yesterday, I'm saying it's working well for him, especially after the outing yesterday.
It definitely worked well. Yeah. But I'm in the corner of, you got to think. Like, very few guys are like, oh, see ball, hit ball, see ball, throw ball. Like, and I don't think Stroman's one of those guys. I think he needs to think. I think he needs to be in control. And kind of to what Scott said, like, the whole, like, is it for Instagram stuff? Yes, he's very choreographed.
Of course.
And so he'll make the adjustment. But, like, the choreographed part of it is, the Instagram, he had to make sure
he's flashy. I love Stro. Like
he had to have his
He runs like a professional social media.
He does.
His Insta's got purpose. It's produced sometimes in a good way. I'm not saying like he's fake. I'm saying that's Stro. You talk to him like he's big time.
He's become that. He's become that. He wasn't like that in AAA. He was nose to the grindstone. He was getting after it. Mm-hmm. When we played together in AAA, I was like, this guy is hard worker. Like,
he was like that in the I covered him in the Cape
workers.
League. He pitched for Orleans in the Cape League. He went to Duke. Yeah, he was one the term that he uses.
Height doesn't measure heart.
Yeah, because he's out there at the Cape League. He's one of the shorter guys, and he's like, I'm about to dominate your ass. And he did, So, but now he's made a lot of money. He's got some fanfare.
And I would argue that he had some of that movement that he had when he first came up too. That was
this. Yeah. He had the slider.
I remember when I came up, he had two different sliders to me. And it was that one where that just little rinky kind of get me over one, which was still lethal. But then he had that nasty one where it looked like it started at your hip and it ended in the other batter's box. And I remember, I'm like, God almighty. And then he'd throw the two seam and it was heavy. And I'm like, Yesterday, what I saw, that's the Stroman of old right there. Grip it and rip it, get after it, and you know what? You don't need the shimmy. Just keep doing what you're doing. That was awesome job from him yesterday.
He looked really good, and that slider, the sinkers really come. That's what's kept him in the big leagues. The slider got him there. I remember he struck out Haas. We were in Toronto, and the Royals came in town. It was in 14, and he struck out Haas, and Haas turned around. And he was like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
That's the kind of slider he had because he had both, and it was the same pitch. But sometimes it would go. Deandre Navarro would be like, he go, man. He said, "You catch him."
Yeah.
Deandre would always. It was me, Josh Tolley, and Navarro, and Navarro would be. He goes, "Tolley, hey, you catch Dickey, Coraxi, hey, you catch Stroman. Okay, I got everybody else. Burley, it's me. I got it."
Great,
smart man.
I always thought he's got more strikeout game in him. 8 strikeouts for Stroh in 6 innings. You're right, though. It's not like it hurt the results. Like, I hear you, and that's why we're breaking down the quotes, but it helped.
Just let him shimmy. I saw him do a little dance
shimmy
after
off
one of those straight. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Grip, like he said, I'm grip it and rip it, bro. He's so much better when he just goes, and it showed yesterday.
I want to get at least one more quote in there. I know Colton Wong's joining us any minute. Judge on Volpe. This was my favorite, too. I want to see a little more comedy, a little more character out of Judge. He's got it in him, you know?
Oh, for sure. You just need some of the boys to hang out.
He's got some lines, you know?
He's got, they put him in a glass, man.
Yes. But now, hey, you got the deal. You're the captain. Like, live a little. Let's see it. So, like, for example, he's talking about Volpe yesterday. And here's the quote. "I almost thought he was chasing 62 the way the crowd responded. Like, and you got to laugh out of the media. Like, that's good shit. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know? So,
no doubt.
Props to Judgy on that. And Volpe obviously said probably the most fun day of my entire life. Jersey was flipping out. I did hear one broadcaster who was doing highlights later that night on a different network say, "Oh, he's at Del Barton. He's in the city. He's got the whole city going." I'm like, dude, you're not from here. He's in suburbia, okay?
That's a good try.
Yeah, I was dying.
He's reaching.
He doesn't know.
He was excited.
He thinks Del Barton's like in the Bronx or Brooklyn or something.
He doesn't know the city.
No. It's not in the city. It's in the suburbs. Very much in the suburbs.
Tell me how you don't know the city by showing. Yeah,
exactly.
How you don't know the city.
Exactly. So anyway, I thought that was good from Judgy. And then lastly, just to give more context to what Ken was talking about, so the Matt Gelb article in The Athletic on JT Realmuto, he said, "I was out of breath out there catching." I mean, that says a lot right there, because he's talking about like slowing the pitchers down. And he said momentum's going to be huge now with how fast things happen and the pitcher not being able to get a breath in. So breathing is a big topic from the post-game quotes yesterday. Controlled breathing. You're going to have to change it.
Maybe we're going to get some more treadmills in the big league clubhouses. Guys are going to be jogging, some poles.
A little yog.
Silent J.
Hey,
yog.
Never know.
Well, that's like Scherzer's old school. He does the major running program that he does, doesn't he? Scherzer's one of those guys, I think.
He?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. He's a major boombox guy.
Is he?
We need to ask him about his boombox.
I didn't know that. We had him on
in his bullpen.
I love it.
All right, let's bring in our guy, Seattle Mariners star Kolten Wong, joining us after a big dub yesterday, and styling as well too. Been looking forward to having him on. I love the shirt, the hat, the whole deal. Great dub last night to start off the season. Colton, how you doing? How was opening day?
Dude, hey, that was such a vibe, man. I was telling the guys, I was like, I've been in St. Louis, I've been in Milwaukee, and coming here and seeing how excited this crowd was after last year, hey, that was special, man. I enjoyed every part of it.
Is it more? Was it more than St. Louis and Milwaukee? I mean, you got to do a lot in St. Louis and Milwaukee.
Is this cool?
You still there, Colton?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry about that. I had
No worries.
Did you get a call? That's why. The only time the tech is tight, but there's been twice, I think, where we lose the screen, and that's because he's a popular guy. He's getting a call.
He's getting a FaceTime. Who's FaceTiming you? Is Yelly FaceTiming you because he's?
That was Mama scolding me. Get going.
You gotta. She's keeping you to the 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
You got 10.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kratzy. What were you saying?
No, especially you got to keep it to the 15 minutes, because you guys are in man-to-man defense now with 2 kids.
Yes.
But
I tell you what, man. Right. She's holding on the fort right now in AZ. So, I'm just doing my thing right now. They come, and excited for him to get back here, man. It's crazy once you have your own, how you really just can't do much without him.
Congrats, man. Congrats. Now, tell me about the environment. Like, I want to know, because I like Seattle, yeah, hang up that phone. But I like Seattle, like not as much as Scott likes Seattle, but man, that environment looked incredible last night at the game. Tell us about it compared to like what you've been through. Milwaukee postseason, St. Louis postseason, like you're a limelight guy. Was that a limelight game?
Dude, big time. I mean, I was saying it kind of had like a Boston feel, with like the cold weather, but it also had the West Coast vibe. It was crazy, man. Like just seeing Washington for the first time, seeing how excited these guys were, man, it just blew me away. The intro coming in and seeing everybody getting hype, and then during the game, dude, it was like playoff atmosphere. Like every single big situation, they're on their feet. Every single time Julio stepped up, they're on their feet, man. It was the coolest thing ever. So, it's my 10th year, but it felt like my first, man, last night.
That's awesome, man. Tell us about last night, that last at bat you had. You got hit by a pitch, the pitch clock sequence. I mean, there's a lot of variables going on now this year. So tell me about it, how it went, and what your thoughts are right now on the whole situation.
Yeah, dude, my first at bat, first pitch, I almost got banged. I looked up and it was 9 seconds, and it was like one of those like, oh god, just tensed up and kind of like got ready. I was like, oh, I didn't want to be that guy to be banged first freaking pitch. So that was cool, but yeah, man, it's just honestly the at bat last night was sick, dude. It was sick. It was a good one against Karnacek. Just trying to battle, trying to do what I can. That dude's he's nasty, like everybody knows. So just trying to lock in, man. Knowing that Ty was on fire last night, I just wanted to get the line moving, keep going, and do what I could. And, I was able to work that walk or hit by pitch, and, it worked out perfect for us.
Yeah, France got the job done. The bullpen after Castillo was nasty. So that sequence was the game, though. I mean, to me, Karinchak gets called for the violation. I think he was a multiple offender during spring training too, because he works super slow. That's his thing. So he's still trying to adjust. Yeah. And you could see his expressions too. He's like, oh, damn, yeah, it happened again. Like, do you feel like the momentum swung towards your side? Because that was the game for the offense right there. Like he was ahead. Then he eventually issues the walk. Then you get on, and then France hits the homer. Like pitch clock led to some runs to an extent.
Big time, bro. Big time. These guys don't have the opportunity to step out and really collect themselves. And, same for hitters, but for us, like, the more we think, the worse we get, So it works out on our benefit sometimes. I think, seeing that happen, man, like, it was crazy because once that pitch call violation was called, man, the whole crowd just got loud. It got rowdy. It started getting crazy. I was just, dude, I couldn't tell you how excited I was. The vibe there was insane, bro. And, like, the crowd is the reason why we got that inning going. They got in Karnacek pretty quick, and dude, it was insane. You could just see everything starting to unfold and unravel. And when Ty made that big hit, bro, it just that whole place lit up. It was just you could feel everything shaking. I mean, vibes were going nuts, man, and we were just excited. It was a quick snatch. We didn't score runs. We didn't score any runs until the 8th inning, and then Ty came up big for us. So that was awesome.
Good stuff, man. Hey, I'm a big believer this year there's going to be monster stolen bases, like numbers astronomical, even for yourself. Like, I feel like whatever you had, you're probably going to double it. And I've had some guys in here telling me, listen, you're crazy. They think team-wise there's going to be a lot more, which I do too. Like, what number do you think, where do you think you're going to be at this year? I feel like, honestly, you're going to be in the 50, 60 range in stolen bases. I feel like there's an opportunity for you.
Dude, people don't give enough credit to how big those bases are, man. It's insane. Spring training, I stole 2 bases in one game. The first one I stole sliding in one. Second, I was like, I'm gonna see if I can stand up and steal this base, and I ended up doing it, dude. It was like, okay, this is gonna be a fun year. My legs stay under me and they stay healthy. I'm gonna get some bags. I mean, I don't really know exactly. I don't want to put a number on it because I don't want to cap myself. But once I start getting on base more often instead of last night, I'm gonna be running. So I'm excited.
Todd, you should see him when you're answering this. He's going, let's go. It's been one of the big debates the last week on the show, because Przynski's also usually on this show with us. And he was like, yeah, there'll be some more stolen bases. And also, it's great. We can misquote him because he's not here right now. But Todd's like, yo, I'm telling you, he's like, some guys might double their stolen base totals. Like, we were looking at the leaders from last year in the American League. Like, Cedric Mullins was top 3. He had, 34? And Todd's like, he might steal 70 this year.
I'm saying 70. So, I'm telling you, man.
Do you think, like, what were some of your teammates, too? You got some fast teammates. Were some of them saying the same thing? Like, oh, my gosh, like, the game has changed.
Big time, dude. I mean, especially with the pickoffs, because, like, majority of the time you can kind of read these guys now because they know they only have 2 opportunities to pick off. So you're starting to see guys fall into rhythm. You're starting to see guys, with a little, hard head tap and whatnot, and they don't really know exactly how to hide it, yet. So, I definitely think you're gonna see a lot more stolen bases. I mean, the bases are bigger, so we can dive to the back part of the base now when we're getting back, so our leads can get bigger. When you're still in the second, man, the swim move is huge now because you got to cover so much range trying to tag this dude. So it's gonna be awesome, dude. Like, I'm excited to see the game get back to this point where, you got grinders out there who are gonna steal the bases, who are gonna put down bunts, do the little things, man, and go the opposite way. It's bringing the beauty of the game back and then speeding it up at the same time. I think, all the moves that we made so far are pretty good.
Todd wants to know if 4.5 inches is huge or not.
To me, it is.
To you, it is. Yeah.
My man, baby. I love that. I appreciate that.
You were hitting on both sides of it. The bases are bigger, but that to me that's negligible. And obviously, I'm not stealing any bases. I'm trying to throw you out. Mm-hmm. How long do you think the pitchers are going to be able to make the adjustment? Because I'm not even sure. Who's your first base coach in Seattle? I should know this.
Chris Negron.
Oh, Chris
Negron, your big Cincinnati guy. The
my
Reds.
Roomie. That was my roomie.
That's a guy. Hey, that's.
How are you my first base coach now?
That's a dude. Like he's younger than you. That's awesome. No, but like what are the things that he's telling you guys? Because the best first base coaches, you've had some turd first base coaches, I'm sure, that are just like. You had Q at Milwaukee. That guy's a stud. But the turds who stand over there and they're like, 1, 4, 5. Like, good luck. Like, what's Chris telling you when you're going over there? Like, hey, this guy has no idea. He's a double tap guy, and we go. Like, is he like, hey, this is going to last for a month? Is this going to last the whole season? What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, majority of the guys now at first base are incredible, man. They're breaking down guys left and right, just the smallest little things, and we're able to take advantage of those things. And Chris is just as good, as QB. Quinn Berry is one of my favorite dudes, man. He used to lock me in all the time, and I was running nonstop with him too. And anytime I get thrown out, he'd be like, "Hey, K-Dub, that's my bad, man. That's my bad." I was like, "Hey, it's all good, bro. Let's do it." But it's crazy. These guys put in so much work, and they're constantly finding these little things, little tendencies that pitchers fall into. That you tend to overlook. You just kind of see, you think it's part of their delivery, and the next thing you know, like, once you figure out the cue, it's like, holy smokes, bro, I can see this so easy, and it's crazy, man. I think, pitchers are going to have to slow down. They're going to have to be a little more cautious of, like, what they're doing with their body, and that's the biggest thing with the pitch clock, too, is, like, they don't have the time to do that. So, I think ball's kind of in our court right now, and, I think as the season goes, things will slow down, but I'm with you, Todd. I think stolen bases are going to go through the roof this year, and I think guys are, ready to do it.
You think, well, as a catcher, no. You guys are going to start getting thrown out. Like, we got you. They'll have athletic catchers back there. We got you. Is your shoe game, real quick, you said Q, like, is your shoe game, because I know Q's a huge fan of our show, so he's always watching. Is your shoe game more on point than his, or are you guys do you guys tail each other? Do you guys kind of, like, enjoy each other's game?
I think Q knows the answer to that. My shoe game stomps on his shoe game.
Oh,
let's go! No, man, he's got some fire, bro. He had some last year. I used to always just bring him up every single time, like, damn, bro, those are sick. And he'd have that little pimp walk at the first base,
he loves that short walk.
Bro. Oh, he's the man. That dude, talk about just the kind of guy you need in the clubhouse, a coach, and, a player who never forgot, bro. I mean, he kept everything so loose and so relaxed. That whole organization, man, I have nothing but good things to say about Milwaukee. It was one of the best times I had there.
That's awesome. I want to revert back to something else. Hawaii, man. Love that state, man. I've always wanted to either have a game there or have a professional team there, man, because they're so proud. You guys are so prideful out there. You guys love the game of baseball, and it's always warm out there. And I played in Hawaiian Winter League. I played the last year there. The Waikiki Beach Boys, we were champions. Let's go. Hey, watch out. But what do you think about, wouldn't that be pretty cool to have a game, at least a game there, or, a couple major league teams or something, have an exhibition? I think that would be so cool, man. Right at the university there. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be insane, dude. That would be for me, that'd be a dream come true. Being a kid born and raised on that island, For me, the University of Hawaii was our big league team, and we really didn't know much else. You'd watch TV and stuff, but everyone seems so far away when you grew up in Hawaii. So they're just like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But dude, I remember, they do the that Japanese classic or whatever, and they always have guys go, and that's like where they practice and whatnot. And man, I want to go to that so bad. It was the coolest thing ever. I think Kirby went in 2017. It was the last time they went, and he was telling me, it was like, dude, it's so cool, man. Just being around all the people there, the excitement. I mean, I think we can do it, dude. I know they've done like exhibitions and stuff there before, but getting some games out there would be amazing, dude. The people out there love baseball. Like you said, they're passionate, they enjoy it. And you can really just, get a crowd going out there, man. They love it. You give them a little beer out there, and it's all good.
Let's go.
I love it.
Hey, Colton, I have one more for you on the rules, because in my mind, the shift restrictions are also huge. We've been talking a lot about it on the hitting side and how, of course, I mean, lefties are loving it, but position player defense side, for someone like you, I was looking back at when you joined Milwaukee, and Craig Counsell was telling me, like, he has completely changed things for us. I'm like, yeah, no shit. You had Mike Moustakas at second base. It's Kratzy's boy, but I'm like, no offense. Like,
T-Shaw,
they
Mike
had the
Moustakas,
jumbo package at second. Like, they had every guy at second was like a
big beef,
a monster.
Big beef, absolutely.
Now, and even then, like, that's before shift restrictions. They're like, all right, now can we get a guy who's rangy as hell with us in Colton and change things for us? Now take it even a step further where you can show off the range and the athleticism. So what do you think about the shift restrictions?
Dude, I love it, man. I do. I think it just brings back the pureness of the game, bro. You can't take away all these hits from these guys. Oh, man, Freddie Freeman used to line out to me in short right all the time, and I'd feel so bad, dude, catching his line drives. He's hitting balls me like 106, and I'm right here just, all right, Freddie, got you, bud. It's just like, God. If a guy does that good in a big league game, bro, you cannot take away a line drive in short right field. It just hurt me. But honestly, dude, I love the fact that athleticism is coming back to the game. You got to have guys who respect the game on both sides, who play the game hard on both sides. And I think that's the biggest thing, dude. I think Milwaukee was like the first to kind of start bringing the big boppers in the second base and creating that whole shift routine. And, it was cool, man, because I think it gave guys opportunities. But then you started to see the game kind of go different. You started to not see, the athleticism and the guys out there who like make those crazy plays. I mean, offense is always going to be the biggest thing, but when you see somebody make a good defensive play, it's always fun to watch, and that's one of the things that I think we're bringing back to TV is understand that there's, a lot of different ways to play this game. There's going to be a lot of different people who play this game, but if you can play on both sides of the field and do it really well, I think that respect level for me goes through the roof.
I'm with you. I think the narrative shouldn't be, oh, we're changing it. We're just bringing it back to what it was. Like, that's what I watched growing up, right? The time, the athleticism, the range on D, all that. We didn't have a billion shifts. Last one from me. Who's the funny guy on the Mariners right now? Because you got this new ball club for you. Like, who's dropping lines left and right? Because it's also good scouting for us, right? Like, Rowdy Tellez comes on the show pretty frequently, and he's a guy where I'm like, the world needs to know, and how ridiculously funny Rowdy Tellez is. He's going to be an international superstar by the time we get through this season on this show. But you got anyone on the Mariners?
Honestly, man, Ty France is probably one of the funniest guys on the team. It's all these first basemen, man. I think they talk so much at first that they're so savvy and they're so smart with what they say, man. He comes up with some funny things. So, I got to give it to the first baseman. I feel like they get to talk to guys more than we do. So they tend to pick up on some cool jokes and stuff, and they try to make it their own. So I'll say, for sure Ty is a funny guy on our team right now.
If you're awkward, like, and you can't talk at first, like, it's got to be brutal. I'm sure there were some. We'll get some stories from you guys after, but right?
I got one right out the gate.
All right, save it. We'll talk. We'll let him go. He's got to go back to man on man press there. Yeah. Colton, thank you so much, man. Happy opening day in baseball season. We appreciate having you on, and would love to have you again sometime.
Anytime, fellas. Thank you guys for having me, man. This was a blast.
Yeah, thank you. Colton Wong with us. Seattle Mariners 1-0. Big night for them. That was awesome.
He's just a cool cat. Man.
Yeah,
I love him. I'm playing against him. Whenever he came to third base, we always have a good conversation, and he's doing it. He's still doing his thing. He's on a good ball club too, so we'll see what happens with that team.
I played against him, obviously, and his brother was in the minor leagues for a while with the Rays.
Okay.
And I used to, every time Kian would come up, I'd be like, "Hey, Colton, how you doing, man?" He's like, "No, bro. No,
you were that guy, weren't you?"
Just a little
ding.
And then when I would play Colton in the big leagues, I'd be like, "Kian, how you doing, man?" And he would turn to me and go, He was always, but just so cool, man. Like, why are people from Hawaii so cool?
They're chill, man.
Like, who's somebody from Hawaii that's not cool that you've played with, Todd, or that you've met in your life, Scott? Like, they're so cool.
They're just relaxed.
Yeah.
There's no worries.
I don't know the.
There's
Yeah,
no
I don't know any of the lingo
the
or
weather's so nice. It's just
you're happier. I mean, I'm spending more time in Florida now. Like, what are you complaining about in certain parts? Like weather-wise, where I'm hanging out with people, they're like, cost of living's good, weather's good. Yeah. Like, they're happier.
No doubt.
In Hawaii, are you kidding me? It's freaking gorgeous there.
Yeah, let's not mix Hawaii and Florida.
I agree.
I mean,
I'm saying there's a warm weather thing.
No, exactly.
Is that what it is?
It's a thing.
I think so. I mean, when I lived in Miami,
waking up.
You look at like youth sports sometimes up in the Northeast, and I'm like, you guys need a vacation.
That was me last week in that 35-degree weather. We went 2-0, but it was raining. It was just yucky out. I mean, listen, you wake up. Nice, cool. Your family room's nice and cool. You go outside. It's beautiful. Yeah, I might have to move here soon.
Yeah,
I want the warm.
No, you ain't moving from this joint.
This joint. Pick this thing up and
you ain't picking it up. Nobody's buying it.
Hey. All right, so we got a few more things for everyone watching left to do here. We're gonna do our locks of the day. We're gonna rip open some packs of top cards at the end. But we got a toast and we got some breaking news on a signing. So first off. We've been doing this at 12. Now the show is 1 to 3 Eastern. So
5 o'clock
Friday.
Somewhere.
I got a little Corona for you to crack
Let's
there,
go,
bro. And cheers to you on that first pitch, man.
It wasn't a 6.
No,
it was pretty damn good.
That was an 8.
You know when you cheers, you're supposed to look. You're supposed to look the guy in the eyes.
I got one here and one here.
He's working the middle seats, not easy.
The middle seat. Hey, you got to pass everything at the table.
Yeah. So cheers to everyone. We appreciate you watching the OGFT live fans. Just 3 weeks in here, so. And this is our second show of the season. We got all of us in person, which feels much better, I will say.
Feels homey.
Yeah, I might have to get Brzezinski to move up here. Good luck.
That guy has been in Orlando since day one.
Yeah.
He came out of the womb in Orlando.
Exactly.
Like, he's not moving.
He's going out in Orlando, too.
You know what I'm
saying? By the way, I just found out where Ken lives.
I
didn't know about that, but I told him I already tweeted it out, which I did.
Wait, but you know what's funny is the breaking news is from Ken. So Ken just broke this. It's a signing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, Ken, way to tell us about your little news hit. What can we bring him back on? It's just a signing. I mean, we've been talking about Gary Sanchez.
Just a signing?
Gary Sanchez?
Minor league contract, though. Only getting I mean, we're in the season now.
You always need catchers, though. I mean, minor league.
Don't do that to
He's
Gary.
going to the Giants.
Yeah, I don't think you should either. I agree.
Don't do that to Gary.
Good pickup by the Giants.
Going to spring training in Scottsdale and then minor leagues, and he can opt out if he's not brought up to the bigs by May 1.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I had that in mind in my last year.
It
seems like May 1st would never come here. It just took forever.
You were waiting for it? You
got
sick of buying dinner for all the minor leaguers?
I got picked up by the Pirates and got moved up for like 19, 20 days. And that was it. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's a big leaguer still, man. I still think he can hit the ball. His BP – people don't know much about. Well, around here they do. They think of Gary. They're like, man, he didn't do so well for the Yankees. I thought he did great. You know, he could work on the defense a little bit.
That's my thing. Let me stop you there.
Okay.
So
you stop me
because I called quite a few games. Well, no, I want to ask you because you know him.
Well, I mean, he's huffing and puffing right now.
The defense has not been there, and the pitchers get frustrated, right, on the pass balls. And here's Ken's tweet. So here's my question. I remember there was a time period not long ago where John Smoltz was like, this could be one of the better hitters in baseball. He was so high on him, and that part of his game could have at least given him DH time. The problem is he hasn't been an elite offensive ball player. So if the defense is not there, that's my thing. I was like, this guy eventually will be a DH, like if the catching's not working out. The bat has not come around like I thought it would.
There's something going on over here.
So Did you play with him?
Yeah.
Oh, so
like this guy's a guy. Like
I think he is too. Though.
He's a 2-time All-Star, and I get it. You know, last time is 19. And there's always when you're in a big market, your personality doesn't fit with the market.
Mm-hmm. Very well said.
People keep spitting the narrative, and I've finally in 2020 I said, Gary, I said, why do you let them continue to spit the same narrative? And he's like, what am I going to do? He says, it's not me to argue. This guy is a very, very good catcher. He might not be an all-star anymore. I'm not trying to say he's an all-star, but you know what? Everybody goes into an offseason and is like, you're not sitting there on the bench, maxing out your reps going, man, I hope my OPS plus is 101 this year.
Exactly.
No shit, but also, I mean, he's not 285 and 40, because if he was last year with the Twins,
he never was.
Well, not many catchers.
I know, but
let's talk about the position. I'm not even going to bring up his career, because his career has been elite. He's above average OPS plus over every catcher that has not gotten a minor league deal. So you're telling me that he led framing. He was third in 2016, his rookie year.
Okay.
He was the third best framer in baseball. Okay? He had a lot of pass balls.
Yep.
Okay? He had, I'm scrolling
That's the bugaboo,
through,
dude. That's what people get on him for.
That's a big.
Okay, so he had 16. You know who had 16 in the National League that year? The great receiver of all time, Yasmani Grandal. Mm-hmm. But nobody spit that. I'm telling you, this pisses me off because I love Gary like a brother, and this dude is a stud. So what happened the next year? He got 18 pass balls. You know how many Yasmani had that year?
22.
17. Okay?
Yep.
So then, you know what he did? And I can only say this because we played together. We were in spring training, and I was like, Gary, why? His framing numbers went plummeted. And you know who loves framing? The Yankees.
Yes. They
bring in Tanner. I won't even remember his last name, and it's bad because I text him. He'll probably be pissed if he ever watches the show. But Tanner comes in, and he's supposed to fix. They fired.
Was it a catching coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
They fixed Tanner Swanson. They brought him in to fix Gary. Well, he didn't fix Gary because he didn't connect with Gary as a person, and that's fine. They fired the other guy. They fired, somebody to bring him in. Gary's pass balls go down to 7. 7 pass balls. Hey, that's a success, right? Oh, no. Now the media market, you know what they're pushing? Oh, his framing numbers are down. The Yankees are – well, who's feeding that to him? So he was behind the 8 ball to start with. As soon as his pass balls went that way and his way with the media, and I'm not saying he was bad with the media. He's very cordial. He's just quiet. He's just quiet. He's not and so it was a prime example of a guy who got pigeonholed. And I can't stand when they play national games and the announcer, I'm not going to say who it was, but the announcer, first thing they do is they just, that's one of his things. He's not very good defensively. Okay, well, let's really put it out there. Let's put it all out there. And who else has pass balls? Majority of the top 10 framers, besides my buddy, Kyle Higashioka, who's incredible behind the dish, Jose Trevino behind the dish, they have high pass balls.
Yeah.
And
because you're basically picking one or the other, right?
No. Some can do one or the other. Some guys aren't good enough to do it. Not everybody that's really good at framing has pass balls, but a lot of them do. And it's anyway. That's my rant. The whole framing set.
And he got one of the better arms in the league too. He's got a cannon back there.
El Machete Cañón.
His BP was impressive too, man.
He is. I used to hit in a hitting group when they would stay back and I would never play in spring training. They put me in a group with Gary, Giancarlo, and Judge. And then one of those guys would go and play in the game, and then they would move Greg Bird at the time into my group. And I'm like, guys, can you get me out of this group? Yeah. I'm working the other way. They're working the other county.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of these guys is not like the other.
Not fair.
One of these guys is doing their own thing.
Well, I'm looking through because you got for San Francisco. I mean, Joey Bart was a top pick.
He struggled a little bit last year. I thought
he cares. Yeah. Joey Bart, whether or not he's going to be good physically, mentally, that dude, he cares about the position.
Slump, right? His second year last year?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. Down. I had that thing too. I blame the sophomore slump.
You had a sophomore slump?
Yeah, I did. Not too good.
And I think Gary's going to be able to throw some guys out. You got to bring –
one knee too.
If you're not throwing guys out, anyway.
You're good.
I'm so glad.
You got it off your chest.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we got to the 4th week and I held in my Gary rant until then.
No, you did.
Well, now he's signed, so
well.
we'll see. It's not the best path for him because, I mean, if Bart hits, like they're going to give him every shot
For sure.
to do well. Roberto Perez, and then they even really technically have a third catcher. This guy Blake Sable, who can play in the outfield, but also he can be an emergency catcher there too, and he probably will get some reps behind. But I mean, guys get
for 29 teams. I know about signing with a team and
you're playing
moving
for
on.
the others, right?
There's no reason he shouldn't have been in a camp somewhere, but I think the WBC, like, I'll just go play at WBC. Like, nobody wants to sign me. Doesn't need he can get a minor league job. Now he's ready. Sacramento, here we come. El Gary.
So he'll be back. He'll be back in the bigs.
Should be.
No, I didn't know that I didn't know where you were going there. So, no, I'm glad. That's good. People need to know. Ready for our locks of the day, presented by Bet MGM, our new sponsor, our buddies, our big partnership, exclusive sports betting partnership that was officially announced yesterday, by the way. How did we do on day one to celebrate the announcement with BetMGM? How did our locks do? You were off. You were doing first pitch, so you were fine. It's only when you're on the show. Kratzy, what was your pick?
Oh, I had the Braves. I had the Braves on -2.5.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
sorry about that. I put 200 on that.
Yeah.
7-2.
7-2. How you doing?
If you're gonna put a lock down, might as well do it.
Yeah,
real.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Pierzynski, who's not here, but I'll give his recap because he was tweeting about it all night. He was like, "Is Dylan Cease going to go over his strikeout prop in 5 minutes?" I mean, he basically did. By the way, shout out to him. He was ridiculous last night for Houston. Great win for the White Sox to start things off. Really good. So, and also AJ revealed yesterday that he made a bet with some dude that if the White Sox have a better record than the
Red Sox. Because it's white and red.
One dude would either have to dye his hair white for the White Sox if they have more wins. If the Red Sox win, AJ's doing his show with red hair. That's the kind of shit he throws out there. That's an easy
bet right there.
Right, White Sox are going to outdo him.
They should.
Yeah. June Lee was on.
And he was trying to ask him, like,
and he goes,
ugh.
He's like,
I
don't think he's
no.
I'm here, and I don't think that's a good choice. But hey, I'd love to see. I would love to see it. Two non-playoff teams. Oh, according to AJ, White Sox.
If you lose, you're fine.
Yeah, I'll put some red in that.
You'd put it in.
What, you get my nose hairs or something? You put some
eyebrows.
Man, those things are probably falling out too.
All right.
The hair game ain't it, but
so for me also, yes. How you doing? I won. Mine was a little bit of
no panic
biter. Yeah, I mean the Phillies they pounced on Jacob deGrom, but then eventually it was all good. 9-run fourth inning for Texas, casual 9-run fourth. I had the Rangers run line in the first 5 innings, and they were more than up a run, so I was good by the time.
Was that the fourth that they scored 9?
Fourth was when they scored 9, so I was good. I wasn't looking good.
You were
I was great. I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm good. We're good. So anyway, if you followed along, I threw down 100, picked up 115. Day 2, what do we got? Locks of the day. Frazier, you weren't here with us yesterday. You start. This is a good one. I'm seeing a heavy bets going down on each side here. This is a game tonight.
I find it amazing that his bet is lower than mine, and they got to win by a run and a half. You know, does that make any sense?
I made mine last night. I locked mine in last night.
Okay, yeah, it's got to be higher than that.
Oh, because it moved? Is that why?
It must have moved it. I must have moved the line.
Yeah, I'm going Houston money line.
You moved the line.
Yeah, you moved the line. I'm trying to make more than the 200 I'm putting down and win 280.
No. I'll tell you what's going on here. It's minus. And it's moved again even since then. Oh. There's a plus that's got to be a minus. We'll fix it. We'll fix it post.
No worries.
They were at -140. Houston's favored, by the way. We were talking about before the game. Before the show.
Okay.
They're favored. They're -140. They got Christian Javier on the mound.
Well, if it's minus,
and now it's bumped even further. It's at 145.
Yeah.
So that's why I was looking at that. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm still going to take them.
So you got to throw. What are you throwing? 145 to win 100?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 290 to win 200.
Okay.
So I feel like because Houston's the last 10 years they haven't lost on opening day. They're gonna come back. They got Lance Lynn, good friend, but they're gonna be ready for that fastball.
Not a friend. I said it in the chat. I have Houston on. I'm seeing Houston win by 2 here at least. Lance Lynn's numbers. I'm a safe. As much as AJ might not be willing to get into that pocket, I'm not willing to get in that pocket either. So I'm going safe bets. The stats say Lance Lynn doesn't do too well in Houston, so I really like them winning by 2. But I also like Christian Javier. Man, that guy is invisibles at the top of the zone. And I felt like this was a lock, a no-brainer. And unless Lance Lynn starts spinning a curveball out there or starts spinning it a little bit more, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for him.
So you've got plus 135 for Houston run line, a.k.a. Houston's got to win by 2 runs or more.
Yep.
And you threw down 200?
200 again.
So,
yesterday, my run line was 135, 140, I think, yesterday. I forget. I could look at my
We've got a spreadsheet, so good news for everyone. We're keeping track all year, okay? Yeah. We're keeping receipts, as coaches will say sometime. By the way, that line's moved too, Kratzy. It's now plus 140. So, I mean, you went in at plus 135.
I went in yesterday, so.
Yep, you're good.
That means I like it.
Yep. And then for me, I'm going to the Mets and the Marlins, and I've got Miami money line. They're actually favored. Jesus Luzardo, nasty stuff. He's had injury issues. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's going up against David Peterson for the Mets. Something he's going to – for me, Peterson, sometimes they're like, oh, this dude's a 3 or 4 starter. And sometimes they're like, when he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. Marlins lost game 1. He played a little bit of law of averages too. Marlins actually they were putting up a fight yesterday against Scherzer. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they're going to be a pain in the ass to deal with in the NL East. The pitching's ridiculous, especially the starting pitching. The offense has gotten better, okay? You look at the offense, they're playing to the ballpark a little bit more. You get a contact guy like Gene Segura. You get one of the best overall contact guys and a good on-base guy. He'll take a walk here and there too, and Luis Ariz. Like, he's playing a different game sometimes out there in the way he handles the bat. So for me, I think the Marlins pick up a dub in game 2, even though it's a road game for them, because they're playing at home against New York, and all the New Yorkers are down there filling the place up, and the Mets will say post-game felt like a home game. But I got the Marlins. I got the fish with the money line tonight, so I'll be kicking back and watching that one. This was the quote, too, I pulled from Luzardo from last year. It was my favorite. He was pissed when he got dealt. So he felt like Oakland gave up on him really quickly, you know? I mean, he was one of the top prospects in the sport. I'm a big
got a chip on his shoulder this year. Let's go.
He said, quote, I felt like Oakland gave up on me, which kind of was just like a punch in the face or like a wake up to reality. But I think at the end of the day, it probably helped me out and kind of helped me kick into high gear. He's got good stuff.
He does. Honesty is the best policy, man. He's pissed. Now, here in sunny, warm weather, let's go. We're talking about warm weather.
You're living good. Yeah, enjoy it. So
he should be having a blast now, getting out of Oakland and now going to Miami. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
105 to win 100 for me. So we'll see how things go. Let's throw the board up. Tell the people what they need to do. How to get involved with Bet MGM. Sign up, deposit at least $10 into your newly created account. Download the Bet MGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android. You can place a pregame money line wager, which we all just gave you, money line wagers, run line for Kratzy. But like, for example, if you want to tail me, that's what you would do. At least $10 on any MLB team at standard odds price, which is what I did. And then you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code is SpicyBall200. For you, SpicyBall200 again for you for how to get involved here on BetMGM. Spicy Ball is the emojis for us,
and it's instant. I mean, you click the button and boop, email. It's in your account. Like,
it's a beautiful thing.
They got you full catering, full service.
Absolutely. And please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ready to rip some packs?
Oh, I can't wait.
Before we do slap pants, I've been waiting for this. So we've done this a couple times on the show, but really I've been waiting to do this in person. And we also have like the camera. If you're listening, we'll be as descriptive as possible and give you the play-by-play if you're on podcast. But if you're watching right now or later on, I've got like a nice camera set up here. So if we pull anything good, I'll show it off to the crowd on the single for you.
I'm 12 years old again.
Right?
Yeah,
well, now we're all in person too.
There's nothing better. Now, if you do it with your kids too, it's like
they love it
because every card he thinks is the best card. And if he's a Mets fan, Blake, and if a Met card came out here, Jared, I got Nimmo.
I was a Phillies fan, and I'd open the pack. Everybody's got their own style. I would not open the pack like crazy. I would always open it all the way down, and then so it would lay open. And then I had to keep it in one so that we're all nice and looking good, and I would look for the color. If it was red, I'm like, yeah. And if it was the Reds, I was pissed. I was always looking for Phillies. And there was like 90 Rob Deers and Tom
If it was
Hurts
the
out
Reds,
there.
you might get a Todd Frazier rookie card.
Not when I was collecting.
That was
I know.
nice.
All right, who wants to start?
I'll go.
You pulling anything good? There's two differences here too for anyone following along here. Like half of what we're doing here is, we pass through some guys and you got a comment, you played with the guy, whatever. But if you're a collector like Frazier, who's looking for a specific type of cards, like he's looking for the autograph cards, maybe a little jersey patch. Because you could get a big. This is the one thing I was explaining to people who aren't collectors. I'm like, you can get a big player, but if it's a common card, it's
yes, all common.
Frazier's not making a ton of money off it. He's looking for the big one. Plus, I did get this for you today. I got
yes.
This is the special you get in each box.
That's the one.
Oh, there we go. That shot looks nice.
I got the 1-2 punch.
You got something good at the end here?
Not numbered. It's decent. All
right, let me put it on the screen here for the world.
Brandon Woodruff. That's not bad.
Two very good friends of the show.
Yes.
Maybe a little Woodruff next week, actually, right, Kratzy?
Oh yeah, that's the goal.
Try to get
my guy. Starts coming up, so we'll see.
He starts this week. What is he starting tomorrow, right?
He's starting tomorrow. They have off today, so he starts tomorrow. Todd, now tell me about this. The all aces.
Yeah, it's a good looking card.
It's a nice looking card. It's nice. Show that to the people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know value. I don't know value, but
a couple bucks.
A couple bucks. I don't think you're doing any serious damage here.
It's a better looking card.
It's a nice looking card though, and you get. I mean, I like. What I like is the dudes that like
keep it.
They're on a I have Gabriel Moreno on here. Obviously, I'm not saying he's making, but it's his rookie card.
You have his
and
rookie?
It's with it. Yeah, and it's with his old team. He got traded.
It's nice.
Yeah. Frazier's looking for some gold here.
Yeah, Frazier.
I see some friends of the show. I got Helsley, but they're commons. Freeman, I was cracking up just because of what Colton Wong said earlier. He's like, I felt bad for Freddie taking hits away
I'm
like, damn.
Never feel bad for taking somebody's hit away.
Yeah. Also, Freddie's living good.
A little Brett Beatty rookie card. Those
okay.
Nice little rook.
Let's see.
So when you get those rookies, you hope they start dominating.
Exactly.
When they come up.
We have a Beatty. I think it was a hologram that's down in Orlando. That's one of the big ones we're banking on from this first box that we ripped. By the way, it's a top Series 1 2023.
Adley Rushman rookie card.
Oh, okay.
We got Aaron.
And
Judge
you get the
here.
So here.
We got
on the box here, you're looking for one autograph or a relic card in every hobby box.
Nice. Yeah, you found those rooks.
Also, by the way, here I'm going to show you on the rooks. You get a little
throwback style.
You get a little designation here that it's a rook card. You see there, little gold. The cool thing too, we didn't talk about it yesterday.
There's another rook card for
the gold patch, or not the gold patch. You see, what is it? The rookie patch, rookie debut patch. Debut patch. Anyone making a debut, their first game.
Not rookies, just
and this is a Tops and a league and a union, everyone together thing. We're like, all right, we're going to put a patch on the player. Just first game, I think it is.
Just debut.
Just debut. So if somebody gets called up tomorrow, they'll get the patch on. They'll take the patch off and make a 1-of-1 card on that. And I think that's
sick.
You get, and it doesn't even matter what guy you get.
Yeah.
There's going to be only one of those made, and it's going to be the only patch that they'll ever have worn for one game.
So imagine like Volpe if he's the next Jeter, what that thing's going to be worth.
Let's make sure the players get a cut of that too. Don't
Everyone's in on it together. We're good. I read the press release.
Now these ones are.
That's the good one right there.
That's what I'm excited about.
You want to pull one?
I would definitely want to rip another.
There's 4 in here. Maybe. I don't know.
That's the special.
Todd, one time come through for the boys.
You go through your because you can still pull something good in there, but you got the special pack.
Yeah, I'll hold that.
Frazier.
I don't want Frazier.
We got 2 more before we get out.
Okay, a little Jack Swinski.
Okay.
Merrill Kelly, Fernando. Big comeback here for your guy.
Common card though.
For your guy.
Common cards though.
We don't need it. We talk about it. It happens. Seth Brown.
Jeff said in the chat, is this a pack war? Kind of.
Oh, now
friendly pack war.
Now, not anything.
So we got a patch here.
We got a patch. A game-used memorabilia from Jeff Bagwell.
Nice.
Wow,
let's go. Thicker card too.
And it's the old school.
Don't touch the front.
This is when I used to. I didn't touch. I was pointing. Did I touch? I touched. Okay.
Challenge flag kind of.
Check the tape.
Nice. That's a beauty.
But this is nice. I don't know if did they save the uni?
No, so let's read on the back.
How did that happen?
You have received a 1988 Topps Baseball relic card from 2003 Topps Baseball Series 1. The memorabilia contained in this card is not from any specific game, event, or season. So,
do you have sleeves here, by the way?
That's my next thing.
You do?
I forgot to bring the sleeves.
All right, we'll bring them over.
That's probably the best card.
I'll show this one off.
Yeah, no, you're gonna pull something big for the
well,
boys.
in that pack. Hold on, let me show this off first.
That one's nice.
How you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?
So now we get the 4 here. These are some nice, colorful cards. So we got Charles LeBlanc, rookie card. Oh, we got a little Nolan Arenado, a little Mark McGuire. Oh, that blue, I want to see that at the end.
Mac.
The blue here, Blue Jays. Come on. Little Bo Bichette action.
Okay.
Vladdy. Let's see.
What do you got?
Oh, Vladdy. That's a beauty.
You got a Vladdy?
That is nice. What is that? Is that
so? Tell us.
Hold on. This is 45 out of 150. So we got a number.
Okay.
This is a beauty right here. Yeah, this is a good finish. 45 out of 150. Blue.
Oh, nice.
No,
great drama.
That's our best
do
one.
Do you have
of the
estimated values on these two? And I'll try and look them up
I would
quick.
say that the Bagwell's probably anywhere from $10 to $15 tops.
Okay.
And that Vladdy probably goes anywhere from $30 to $50. I would say. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that Vladdy's that might be a little more actually.
For the Vladdy?
I gotta call my buddy up and see.
For those and what do they call this? The special pack here?
I forget what
the hobby exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're looking for a rookie in there.
Well,
right?
yeah, they got well, who do
they have autos in there sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah, auto or
Charles
relic.
like you said.
And how many of those? How many Charles LeBlancs are there? Do they have that on the back?
No, there's only a couple of them that are numbered. So that's the only numbered one we got. We got the patch. So out of the box, I think you get one of each. Pretty much, there's an autograph in each one of them.
Yeah.
Depending on what box you get, and
or a relic.
Yeah, and a couple patches too as well. So.
All right, so there's still we'll pull more.
Yeah,
I'm here next week.
Well, yeah, we're saving them.
We're good. All right, let's do our little slap hands action. Military base of the day. Coast Guard Air Station in Sacramento, an air station of the U.S. Coast Guard located in Sacramento County, California. 189 personnel assigned, operates aircraft on medium-range patrol and search and rescue missions located at McClellan Airfield. We salute you. Appreciate you. Kratz hats in person?
Can I quick go to the birthday? The one birthday?
Yeah, you got a birthday shout out?
Chin-Ming Wong?
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you need a Netflix, it's a good Netflix of Chin-Ming Wong, his trying to come back, back when he came back with the Royals in 2016. Good Netflix. I just saw the name.
Tear his Achilles on the run over to first.
It was something in his foot.
Yeah. Oh,
he did something.
Yeah.
You'll see. He was running home, and he stepped on home plate, and I think it was in Washington. And it was not it. But Kratz hats. We didn't do it yesterday because we had so much excitement opening day.
Yeah, I forgot. That's my bad.
No, that's no worries. That's okay. We'll save it. I'll put it back in the bag.
Exactly.
With my shiny bald head, we got Lehigh Valley Idom Pigs, which there might be like 7 or 8 more of these hats. They actually just reached out to me, and they're sending me they're the only minor league team with 2 Copa Diversiades.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't say that word right, but they're sending me 2 of them. This is my favorite. We did an appearance, and they were like, "Hey, go and choose one of the hats." So we had all our game hats,
nice,
and then we had this, and they got a whole row of hats, and it's legit. Like I said before, great place to watch a game.
There you go. All right, well, cheers, guys. We did it. Good show today. My last thing for Slap Hands is good luck. I mean, we're a baseball show, but University of Miami and Florida Atlantic in the Final Four. And I wish AJ was here because he gives us shit. I'm just as big of a Rutgers fan as Todd, or at least pretty close. Both my parents went there. We're Jersey.
Without a doubt.
AJ gives us shit every week about Rutgers because they kind of finished flat for their basketball season, but I went to the U, so they got a chance at the chip.
Man, I'm so deep into this show, I haven't watched anything.
Who you got? UConn?
Man, Bobby Hurley, man, they're like family to me. I got to go UConn, baby.
I got to go to the U.
Yeah,
I'll get smashed. And I don't know enough to comment.
All
right, so who else do I got left? FAU? Do I get?
Yeah, you can take FAU.
Oh, San Diego State, the home of Carlo Cota. Yeah, I'm definitely going.
I like it. I like that.
Hey, Happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy the first weekend of the baseball season. You know where to find us all over the place. Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube right here. We appreciate you. I'll be back at Frazier's next week. First Frazier Friday in the books. We will see you Monday. Big guest coming up early next week, and Krasinski's back too. Krasinski's first pitch Monday.
Need that.
Good luck, AJ.